Hello there, and welcome. Tonight we are not rushing anywhere. Tonight we are moving slowly, like the quiet breath of the night around you. Maybe there is the faint hum of a fan in your room. Maybe in the distance you catch the gentle murmur of traffic, a reminder that life continues somewhere beyond your walls. But here right now, you are safe, you are warm, and you are invited to close your eyes if you wish, and let curiosity take a slow walk through the corridors of time. This is not a lesson, not a lecture. It is a story told under the soft glow of evening, a story that asks nothing of you except that you listen and drift. A story that begins with a planet that has existed for billions of years and a question that has haunted poets, scientists, and dreamers alike. If the Earth has lived so long, what are we humans but a brief flicker, a passing shadow on its surface, the Earth? Our Earth has been here for almost 4.5 billion years. That number is so large it feels more like an incantation than a fact. 4.5 billion. When you whisper it, it becomes something vast, something almost impossible to imagine. And yet it is real. Long before we arrived, before cities, before fire, before language, before even the first cell, the Earth was already here, turning, cooling, changing. If you could place the entire history of the Earth on a single day, if the Earth's lifetime were 24 hours long, humans would appear only in the last fraction of a second before midnight. Think of that. 24 hours filled with continents drifting, oceans rising and falling, mountains being born and worn away, creatures emerging from the sea forests, spreading deserts, swallowing glaciers, carving the land. And then, at the very end, in the blink of an eye, us. You and me. Everyone who has ever lived. A whisper before the clock strikes 12. So tonight, I invite you to float in that vastness. Do not be afraid of it. Vastness can be gentle too. Think of the night sky, the way it stretches endlessly, and yet comforts you when you lie beneath it. Think of the ocean, the way it roars, and yet soothes you when you hear its waves in the dark. Deep time is like that. It is huge, incomprehensible, and yet strangely calming, because if the Earth has seen so much, endured so much, then our worries for a moment can rest. Take a slow breath. In, out. Let your shoulders drop. Let your jaw soften. There is nowhere else you need to be. Nothing else you need to do. The Earth is spinning quietly beneath you, as it has done for billions of years. You are being carried gently through the night, the same way continents were carried across oceans long before we knew their names. Close your eyes if you haven't already. Imagine the sound of the Earth turning. Of course, the Earth makes no sound in space, but if it did, perhaps it would be like the deep hum of a cello, low and steady, vibrating through time. Imagine lying in the grass at night, feeling that vibration beneath your back, as if the soil remembers everything that ever happened. Every rainfall, every footprint, every spark of life. And as you rest here in this quiet beginning, know that you are part of this story. Not the whole story, no. Not even most of it, but a part. And sometimes being a part is enough. The oak tree does not need to know the whole forest to stretch its branches. The river does not need to see the sea to keep flowing. And we too do not need to own the Earth's vast past to belong to it. Perhaps you are listening in bed, a blanket pulled close. Perhaps you are in a chair, the dim light of a lamp nearby. Wherever you are, the world outside continues. But in here, within the circle of this story, time has slowed. For the next while, you are allowed to rest in the thought that the Earth has always been here, turning slowly, patiently, and that you are part of its moment. If you like this quiet journey, if it feels like a safe corner where your thoughts can settle, you are welcome to return, to share it, to let others know there is a place where curiosity walks slowly and where questions are left open like windows at night, letting in the cool breeze. But for now, you don't need to do anything. Just breathe. There is a candle flickering in the distance of your mind. Imagine it. Its flame is steady golden, casting soft shadows on the walls of a stone room. The room is silent except for your breath. That flame is Earth itself, burning quietly for billions of years through storms, through extinctions, through ice and fire. And you, for this moment, are sitting beside it watching. Listen to your own heartbeat. It has a rhythm, a gentle drum that keeps you here now. The earth too has its rhythm. The rhythm of seasons, the rhythm of tides, the rhythm of tectonic plates slowly invisibly shifting. One is fast, one is slow. Both are beautiful. And when you are ready, let your mind drift back to that first question. If the earth has lived for billions of years, and we are only here for a breath, what does that mean? Does it make us small, or does it make us precious? After all, a shooting star lasts only a second, but no one doubts its beauty. A cherry blossom falls within days, and yet whole festivals are held for its brief bloom. Perhaps our brevity is not our weakness. Perhaps it is our gift. The night deepens around you. Shadows grow softer. Your breath is slower now. You are no longer trying to imagine the billions of years. You are simply resting in them like a pebble on the shore of an ancient ocean. The waves are still moving. The earth is still turning, and you are safe. So let this be the beginning of the journey, a gentle beginning. A reminder that you are not the center of the story, but a note in its music, a spark in its fire, a ripple in its endless sea. And sometimes that is all one needs to fall asleep with peace in their heart. Good night. What if? It is a simple phrase, but it carries the weight of entire worlds. What if is how stories begin. What if is how science dares to ask. And tonight, it is how we allow ourselves to wander. What if the earth, this vast sphere of rock and water, this cradle of forests and oceans and clouds, does not revolve around us? Not just in the astronomical sense. We know already that the earth circles the sun. I mean, in the deeper sense. What if the earth story is not about us at all? Imagine this: for billions of years, the earth turned. It rained. It thundered. Volcanoes spewed fire into skies no human eye had ever seen. Rivers carved valleys no human foot had ever crossed. Creatures strange and unimaginable filled the oceans. Entire lineages of life bloomed, thrived, and disappeared. And for all of this, there was no one to write it down. No witness. No storyteller. Just the earth, dreaming its own slow dreams. And then us, a species that arrived in the last breath of the planet's long life, carrying language, memory, and curiosity. We look back and we ask questions. We ask where we came from. We ask why we are here. We ask what it means to last only a moment compared to the mountain ranges, compared to the oceans, compared to the stars. Could it be that we are not the center, but the pause? Not the meaning, but a fleeting note in a much longer song that is the central question of this night. Not to be solved like a riddle, not to be answered with a single truth, but to be lived with, to be carried gently like a stone in your pocket, smooth from years of touch. If the earth has existed for billions of years, and if humans are only here for a blink, then what is our place? Are we insignificant shadows passing across the surface, or are we luminous precisely because we are brief? Close your eyes and imagine a timeline. Stretch it across the dark. At the far left is a glowing ember, the earth just born molten and wild. Slide your finger slowly to the right. Oceans forming continents, shifting early life, shimmering in shallow seas. Keep sliding forests, rising creatures crawling, the thunder of dinosaurs, the hush of extinctions, the silence of ice. And then at the far edge, almost invisible, the mark of humankind. A thin line, delicate as a hair. That is us. Does it frighten you, or does it comfort you? To know that we are small, that the earth does not depend on us, that the planet has sung its song long before we arrived, and will continue long after. Perhaps it is both. Take a slow breath. Let the question settle. There is no need to chase an answer yet. Tonight, we are not racing toward conclusions. We are wandering like stargazers lying in the grass, tracing constellations they may never name. The value is in the looking. The value is in the wondering. What if in being brief we are given a gift? The gift of urgency, the gift of cherishing, the gift of seeing beauty precisely because it fades. Think of the cherry blossom. Think of the snowflake melting on your palm. Think of the rainbow after a storm. Each lasts only a moment, and yet each is remembered, celebrated, treasured. Could it be that humans too are like that? A blossom in the garden of time, and yet another voice whispers, if we are so brief, do we matter at all? If civilizations rise and fall like waves, leaving little behind, what is the point? Why do we write? Why do we build? Why do we dream if the earth will forget us as easily as it forgot the trilobites, the ammonites, the towering reptiles of the past? These two whispers, the whisper of preciousness and the whisper of insignificance, echo inside the same chamber. They are not enemies, they are companions. To live as a human being is to hear them both, to carry them both, to let them shape the way we look at the stars and the soil beneath our feet. So tonight we will not silence either voice. We will let them sing together softly. We will walk the narrow line between them, and perhaps in the balance, we will find peace. Picture yourself standing at the shore of an ancient ocean. The waves lap at your toes. Behind you lies a forest that remembers ages you cannot name. Before you stretches water that has carried creatures across eons. And above you shines a sky, filled with stars that were born billions of years ago. In that place, ask yourself again, what if? What if you are not small? What if you are not great? What if you are simply here? Let the question float like a lantern across the water. Let it drift out to sea. You do not need to catch it. You do not need to answer it. Just watch it glow, then fade into the horizon, because this is not about answers. It is about resting inside the mystery. It is about surrendering the need to know everything and allowing yourself to be held by the vastness instead. And so the central question remains like a gentle refrain. If the earth has lived for billions of years and we are only a breath, what does that mean for us? For now, that is enough. To hold the question, to breathe with it, to let it guide us into the deeper chambers of time where myth and science, philosophy and dream all converge. Good night. And let the question linger in your heart, like the low hum of the earth itself. It's a simple question, but take a moment to notice. Maybe you are lying in bed, the blanket tucked close your pillow, cradling your head. Maybe you are sitting in a chair, a soft lamp beside you, casting a warm pool of light. Or perhaps you are stretched out on a couch, the quiet of the night pressing gently against your windows. Wherever you are, let yourself feel the space around you. Notice the temperature of the air. Notice the way your body rests on the surface beneath it. Notice how your breath moves in and out without effort. You don't need to change anything. You don't need to do anything. Simply being here is enough. The earth outside is vast, carrying mountains, forests, and oceans. But in this moment, your world is smaller, gentler, a room, a chair, a bed, and that is all you need. As you listen, I invite you to find a comfortable position. Maybe shift slightly, adjust the blanket, or let your shoulders sink a little deeper. If your hands are holding something, your phone, your headphones, let them rest lightly. Nothing has to be tense tonight. Nothing has to be hurried. There's a rhythm already inside you. Your heartbeat, your breath. Both have been with you since before you can remember, steady companions through every day, every night. Feel them now. A slow inhale, a softer exhale, a heartbeat low and steady like a drum in the distance. And as you notice these things, ask yourself, where are you listening from? Not just the physical place, though, that matters too, but the moment. Are you listening at midnight when the house is quiet and everyone else has gone to sleep? Are you listening in the early morning when the sky is pale and the birds have not yet sung? Or maybe you are listening in the middle of the day, carving out a pocket of stillness in a busy world. Wherever, whenever, it is welcome. You are welcome. Think for a moment of the millions of other people who look up at the same sky you do. Some live on the other side of the earth where day is bright, while it is night for you. Some live closer, their clocks ticking in rhythm with yours, and each one of them in their own quiet moment feels the same heartbeat, the same breath, the same longing for rest. You are not alone in this. You are part of something wide and human, something that stretches across continents and oceans. If you wish, you can even whisper where you are from. Whisper it into the night, a name of a city, a village, a country. The sound may vanish into the air, but the earth hears it. The The walls around you hear it. You yourself hear it, and that is enough. Take another breath slower this time. Imagine that the air you breathe is ancient, recycled countless times through forests, oceans, even through the lungs of creatures long gone. The oxygen in your blood may once have been part of a leaf in a prehistoric jungle. The carbon in your body may once have been part of a star. You are connected through every breath to a chain of being that stretches far beyond your own story. And yet here you are in this particular room, in this particular moment, listening to a story. Isn't that remarkable? Of all the vastness, here you are. If this space feels gentle to you, if it gives you a sense of calm, you are welcome to return. You are welcome to share it, to invite someone else to find their own moment of stillness here. This is not a demand. This is not a task. It is simply an invitation, like leaving a light on in a window for a friend passing by in the night. So, as you rest, allow yourself to imagine others resting too. Someone on the other side of the planet lying in bed listening to these same words. Someone just down the street nodding slowly as they breathe in rhythm with you. You may never meet them, but you are connected by the earth beneath you, by the sky above you, by the mystery of being alive in the same small sliver of time. Feel your body once more. Notice your feet, your legs, your arms. Notice how they grow heavier, as if gravity itself is a blanket tucking you into the earth's embrace. Notice how your eyelids soften, how the muscles of your face let go. Every part of you is being given permission to rest. If you drift, that's all right. If you lose the thread of these words, that's all right. They are not here to be held tightly. They are here to wash over you, like waves, like wind, like the hum of the earth itself. Tonight is not about reaching an answer. It is about finding a feeling of belonging, a feeling of ease, a feeling that even if humans are but a moment, even if our lives are brief compared to the vastness of time, this moment still matters, because it is yours, because it is real. So once more I invite you, where are you right now? Are you lying in the dark, eyes closed? Are you listening with your head leaned back, drifting towards sleep? Are you still awake, letting the words echo softly before you surrender wherever you are? It is enough. And if you find comfort here, if you find a corner of peace, you are welcome to return. You are welcome to linger. You are welcome to share. For tonight, though, simply be, breathe, rest, and let the earth with its billions of years hold you in its quiet turning. Close your eyes and imagine time as a clock, not the kind that hangs on your wall or ticks on your wrist, but a cosmic clock, its face stretching wider than continents, its hands moving slower than glaciers. The numbers around its circle are not hours, but ages, billions of years carved into stone and sky. On this clock the earth is ancient. It began when the first spark of rock and fire condensed from dust that once swirled around the newborn Sunday. Imagine that moment as the first tick, a fiery beginning when molten rivers glowed and storms of asteroids hammered the surface. That tick was 4.5 billion years ago. Now imagine the hand moving forward. Slowly, slowly. Whole oceans formed while the hand barely moved at all. Continents rose and drifted like rafts across molten seas. Volcanoes breathed smoke into the sky. And still the hand crept on so slowly, you would need 1,000 lifetimes just to see it move a fraction. If the entire lifetime of Earth were compressed into a single day, just 24 hours, then everything we know about human history would appear only in the last instant before midnight, not even a second. Less than the blink of an eye. The pyramids, the empires, the stories of kings and queens, even the invention of fire, all of it crowded into that vanishing sliver. Think of it: 23 hours, 59 minutes, and 59 seconds filled with forests. No human ever walked through skies. No human ever saw oceans alive with creatures. No human ever named. Dinosaurs roared and vanished. Ice sheets spread and melted. Coral reefs bloomed and crumbled. Civilizations had not yet been dreamed of. And then almost at the very end we appear. A cosmic clock tells us two things at once: that we are small and that we are part of something enormous. Take a slow breath. Feel your lungs fill and empty. That single breath from beginning to end is like the span of humanity compared to the Earth's long day. A single inhale and exhale inside a storm that has been moving for billions of years. Does that thought make you uneasy? Or does it make you lighter, as if your worries can float away on the scale of it all? Look at the second hand of a normal clock. Watch how quickly it moves. Each tick is a moment of your life, swift, fleeting. Now imagine the hour hand crawling forward, almost unnoticed. That is how mountains live. That is how oceans breathe. That is how planets turn. Different rhythms, all part of the same song. We often think of time as rushing us forward, pushing us toward endings. But deep time is different. Deep time is patient. Deep time stretches like a river across a desert, slowly carrying everything in its path. To stand in deep time is to remember that not everything is urgent. Not everything must be finished today. The earth itself teaches us slowness. Picture this. You are standing at the edge of a canyon. Its walls are painted with layers of red and gold, each stripe a memory of a different world. One layer formed when the land was ocean, another formed when the ocean dried into desert, another when forests spread and left behind seams of coal. You run your hand along the rock and you are touching millions of years at once. That is the clock made visible. That is deep time etched in stone. Now, shift the image. Imagine a spiral staircase winding upward into the dark. Each step is a million years. You climb slowly, step by step, your hand brushing the cool rail. With each turn of the spiral, you are moving across epochs, the rise of life, the spread of plants, the march of ice. Climb high enough, and you reach the present moment, just one step at the very top where we stand together. The staircase below you is vast, but also solid. It holds you. And what about the stars? They too are part of the cosmic clock. Some of the light you see tonight began its journey before there were humans to receive it. A star's lifetime makes even the Earth seem young. Some burn for millions of years, some for billions before collapsing in silence. To look at the night sky is to read the clock in reverse, to see the past arriving at your eyes as light. Let the thoughts soothe you. You are carried within time, not outside it. You don't have to hold it, you don't have to measure it. The clock is always turning and you are simply here for a moment, breathing, listening, alive. Take another breath. In, out. Imagine each inhale as an era of growth, each exhale as an era of rest. Inhale forests, rising animals, spreading life, diversifying. Exhale glaciers, moving rivers, carving silence, returning. A rhythm not of panic but of patience. Sometimes people fear insignificance when they think of deep time. But what if insignificance is not the lesson? What if the lesson is belonging? You belong to this vast clock. You are one of its seconds, yes, but also part of its face, part of its turning. Your heartbeat is a miniature clock, echoing the great rhythm of Earth. And so as you drift here, let the idea of deep time cradle you. Let it remind you that there is no need to rush, that mountains do not hurry to grow, rivers do not hurry to reach the sea, and yet they arrive all the same. That the Earth itself has been patient for billions of years and will be patient still. Tonight you are safe inside that patience. You are allowed to slow down. You are allowed to close your eyes and let the cosmic clock tick softly in the background, steady and sure. Midnight will come. But before it does, we have this moment together, a moment stretched across deep time, a moment that is both fleeting and eternal. Before there were mountains, before there were oceans, before there was even the comfort of air to breathe, there was only dust. Not the dust that gathers on your bookshelf or swirls in the golden light of your room. Cosmic dust. Ancient drifting grains of matter left over from stars that had lived and died long before. Close your eyes and imagine that dust. Imagine it spread across a newborn solar system, each particle glinting faintly in the light of a young Sunday. At first it was chaos, swirls and eddies, storms of stone and gas. And then slowly, as if guided by invisible hands, the dust began to gather. Tiny grains clung to one another. They grew into pebbles, pebbles into rocks, rocks into bodies the size of mountains, and through countless collisions through fire and pressure, one of those bodies grew larger than the rest. That body would become our Earth. At the beginning, the Earth was not gentle. It was a sphere of molten fire, glowing like a candle newly lit. Volcanoes burst without end. The sky was thick with ash, so heavy that no starlight pierced it. Asteroids struck again and again, each impact a drumbeat in the planet's violent birth. The ground bubbled. The seas had not yet formed. It was a world still dreaming of what it might become. And yet inside that fire, a miracle was unfolding. The heavy elements sank deep into the core where they churned and spun, creating the molten heart that still beats within the earth today. Above that, heart-lighter rocks floated upward, cooling, slowly forming the first crust, fragile as thin ice. Think of it an infant planet wrapping itself in its first blanket of stone. As time passed, millions of years, then hundreds of millions, the fury began to soften. Rain fell. For the first time, the sky opened and water poured down, filling the scars of craters gathering into valleys. The oceans were born. Picture them vast, endless, shimmering beneath a sky still streaked with fire and lightning. They covered much of the young Earth, rocking gently even as continents had yet to form. That water carried secrets. Within it, molecules danced. Carbon met oxygen, hydrogen met nitrogen, and from their endless swirling came the first whispers of life. Not yet creatures, not yet plants, but patterns, tiny self-replicating patterns that would one day lead to everything we know, to forests, to whales, to you. Pause here. Take a breath. Imagine that each inhale is the fire of the young Earth, and each exhale is the rain that cooled it. Fire and water creation and calm, a rhythm older than memory. Scientists call these beginnings the Hadean Eon, named after Hades, the underworld, and indeed the Earth then might have seemed like a place of shadows and flame. But even in that underworld, the seeds of paradise were hidden. The very chaos that seemed destructive was also the crucible of life. Think of a blacksmith hammering iron. Each strike seems violent, but the blows shape the metal, give it form, give it strength. The early Earth was like that. Each collision, each eruption, each storm of lightning forged the conditions for what would come. And yet no human eye ever saw it. No witness stood on those shores of lava. The story comes to us through rocks, through the memory of minerals, through whispers carried in crystals older than any tree or bone. When geologists study them, they are not just measuring, they are listening like archaeologists of time to a story that the Earth itself still tells. Perhaps you feel small when you think of this. But remember, the atoms in your body were there. The iron in your blood was forged in stars before Earth was born. The calcium in your bones was shaped in those same collisions. You are not separate from this fiery beginning, you are its continuation. So when you touch your hand to your chest and feel the warmth of your skin, know that it is the warmth of ancient fire carried across billions of years. When you breathe, know that the oxygen was first freed by oceans long ago, when the world was still young. You are made of the Earth's first dreams. Take another breath. Let that thought settle like ash falling quietly on cooling ground. And now imagine the sky clearing, the first blue stretching across the horizon, the sun shining more gently, oceans shimmering under light that had once been obscured, continents slowly drifting like rafts of stone. The Earth, once so violent, now beginning to settle into rhythms, tides, winds, seasons. The planet was ready for life to emerge. It had taken billions of years to prepare the stage, to gather the dust, to temper the fire, to summon the rain. And in that vast patience, something tender began the first spark of biology. Small, fragile, and yet unstoppable. This is the foundation of our story, not just of humans, but of everything. The forests, the rivers, the animals, the whispers of breath in your chest, they all trace back to those ancient collisions, that cosmic dust, that molten fire. So when you feel the ground beneath you, remember that it is old, older than mountains, older than rivers, older than memory, and yet it holds you gently like a parent holds a child. Tonight, as you drift deeper into rest, let the image of that young Earth cradle you. a sphere of fire cooled by rain, a world learning to breathe, a planet preparing across vast ages for the moment when life would arrive, for the moment eventually when you would arrive. And as the cosmic clock ticks softly in the background, remember this: you are not just living on the Earth, you are the Earth listening to itself. Long before science gave us the story of dust and fire, of oceans and molecules, people looked to the sky and the earth around them and told another kind of story. They asked, where did the world come from? And in the silence between stars, they answered with myth. Let's wander through a few of those ancient stories softly, like walking through a gallery at night where each painting glows under its own quiet light. In Greece, poets once sang of Gaia, the great Earth Mother. She emerged from the void out of nothingness itself and stretched wide to form the ground beneath every step. From her came the sky, Uranus, arching above her like a canopy. Together they birthed mountains, rivers, and creatures, filling the empty silence with shape and song. To the Greeks, the earth was not just a planet. She was a person, a mother, alive, and fertile her body, the very landscape they lived upon. Far to the north, the Norse people told of a giant named Ymir. In the beginning, there was only a great yawning emptiness. From the clash of fire and ice, Ymir was born. He was enormous, and when he died, the gods used his body to build the world. His flesh became soil, his bones became mountains, his blood became seas, and his skull became the sky. To them, the earth was crafted from sacrifice, from the transformation of something vast into something habitable. Travel east to China, and you find the myth of Pangu. He was said to have emerged from a cosmic egg carrying an axe. He split the darkness from the light, separating heaven and earth. For 18,000 years he grew taller, pushing sky and land apart, until his body itself dissolved into creation. His breath became the wind, his voice, the thunder, his hair, the stars, his tears, the rivers. Even his fleas, it was said, became animals upon the land. Across oceans, the Haudenosaunee people of North America told of Sky Woman who fell from the heavens into a world of endless water. She was carried by animals upon their backs, until a turtle offered his shell as a place for her to land. She scattered seeds, and from her hands grew plants and trees. Turtle Island, as the land was called, became the home of all people. In this story, creation was not fire or violence, but kindness, cooperation, the shared effort of creatures to welcome life. And in West Africa, among the Yoruba, there is the story of Obatala, who descended from the sky with a shell filled with sand and a chicken. He poured the sand onto the endless waters, and the chicken scratched and spread it, creating land. Slowly hills and valleys formed, and the first humans followed. Here the earth was not born in a single instant, but patiently shaped grain by grain, gesture by gesture. Each of these myths is different, yet all are alike in one way. They remind us that people have always needed a story to hold the vastness. When the earth seemed too immense, too mysterious, myth gave it a face, a body, a voice. Pause for a moment. Let yourself feel what it means that so many cultures across continents and centuries dreamed of the same thing: beginnings. They longed to understand where the ground beneath their feet came from and why the sky arched above them. They filled the silence with images of mothers, giants, eggs, animals, gods. Of course, we know now that these are myths. They are not science. They are poetry symbols, metaphors. But in those metaphors is a kind of truth, not factual, but emotional. The truth that creation is not only about matter, but about meaning. That the earth is not only something we live on, but something we belong to, something we come from. Think of the image of Gaia, the Earth Mother. What does it whisper? That the ground itself can nurture, that we are children of the soil, connected to every root and stone. Or think of Sky Woman held gently by animals planting seeds upon Turtle's back. What does that suggest? That cooperation, kindness, and balance are woven into the very fabric of existence. Even the violent myths, like Ymir or Pangu, carry their lessons. They remind us that creation often comes through transformation, that endings become beginnings, that even destruction can shape a world. Take a slow breath. Inhale the fire of Ymir, the breath of Pangu, the patience of Obatala. Exhale and feel the earth beneath you, steady, ancient, carrying all these stories at once. What is striking is how these myths echo the science we now know, though in different language. The Greeks spoke of Gaia, rising from the void. Does that not resemble the image of Earth emerging from cosmic dust? The Norse spoke of fire and ice, colliding much like the violent forces of the early solar system. The Haudenosaunee spoke of seeds carried by Sky Woman, much as scientists speak of molecules carried by comets or lightning strikes into primordial oceans. Different tongues, different symbols, but always the same longing to understand. And so myth and science are not enemies. They are companions. One speaks in metaphor, the other in measurement. One sings, the other calculates. Both, however, are reaching toward the same horizon, the mystery of how something came from nothing. As you drift tonight, you can hold both. You can let Gaia cradle you while remembering molten fire. You can see Sky Woman planting seeds while knowing rain filled the oceans. You can picture Pangu's breath in the wind, while hearing in your own breath the ancient rhythm of earth. Because the purpose of these myths was never to be exact. Their purpose was to comfort, to explain, to remind us that the ground is holy, the sky is alive, and we belong to it all. So close your eyes. Imagine all those storytellers across time, a Greek poet by a fire, a Norse elder in a hall, a Haudenosaunee grandmother speaking by lamplight, a Yoruba priest beneath the trees, each telling a child or a community how the world began, each voice gentle in the dark, each story a candle against the vast unknown. And now their voices are with you, softly, whispering across centuries, reminding you that you are not the first to wonder, not the first to dream. The earth's beginning has always been a lullaby, sung in many tongues, and tonight it is being sung to you. Good night. Imagine unrolling the scroll of Earth's history, long and heavy, stretching farther than your eyes can see. On that scroll are painted whole worlds, forests, seas, deserts, creatures strange and magnificent, that rose and faded long before we arrived. Tonight, let us walk slowly through some of those eras, as if wandering through a vast museum whose halls are carved from stone and silence. The first hall is the Cambrian, some 540 million years ago. Step inside, and you find yourself underwater. The sea is shallow, but alive in ways you have never seen. Creatures scuttle across the ocean floor armored in shells. Others drift like translucent lanterns pulsing gently with light. Trilobites march in armies across the sand, their segmented bodies gleaming. Strange animals with no modern name glide past mouths ringed with spines, eyes like beads of crystal. This was the Cambrian explosion, when life seemed to awaken with sudden creativity, filling the seas with new forms. For millions of years, these creatures thrived, each tiny movement part of a new choreography of existence. Take a slow breath here. Imagine water pressing cool against your skin. Imagine sunlight flickering down through waves. The world was nothing but ocean then, and it was enough. Now walk forward into the next hall. The Devonian, the age of fishes, some 400 million years ago. Oceans were thick with armored swimmers, jaws evolving sharp and strong. On the shores, something extraordinary was happening. The first plants grew tall, lifting green fronds toward the sky. Small forests began to appear, casting shadows on the ground. And from the waters the first amphibians crawled onto land, their limbs uncertain, their lungs newly practiced in breathing air. Imagine standing in one of those forests, ferns as tall as houses, dragonflies with wings as wide as your arms. The earth was beginning to turn green. And then, the Permian, a harsher hall. About 250 million years ago, the continents were joined in one vast landmass, Pangaea. The air was dry, the seasons extreme. Reptiles stalked across deserts, some small, some enormous. Forests of conifers clung to river valleys. Life was abundant, and yet toward the end of this era a silence fell. Volcanoes erupted for centuries, filling the sky with ash choking the oceans. More than 90% of species vanished. It was the greatest extinction Earth has ever known, a reminder that the clock can strike not only creation but ending. Pause here. Feel the weight of silence after such loss. Entire forests gone. Entire seas emptied. The earth endured, but the world changed. And then life returned. In the Triassic, small dinosaurs emerged tentative at first. They grew bolder in the Jurassic when the world bloomed green again. Picture vast ferns, towering conifers, valleys where herds of long-necked giants moved slowly like living hills. The air was heavy with the calls of creatures that have no echo today. Imagine sitting at the base of a tree as a brachiosaurus leans its neck across the canopy, or hearing the thunder of wings as the first birds lifted into the sky. Breathe slowly. Let your imagination walk through that forest. The ground trembling beneath enormous footsteps, the air humming with insects, the sky alive with wings. Time flows onward, and you step into the Cretaceous. Flowers bloom for the first time, delicate colours spreading across meadows. Bees appear carrying pollen from petal to petal. The earth grows brighter, more colourful, filled with scents unknown before. Dinosaurs still roam fierce and small, vast and towering, but their reign is nearing its end. And then one night a rock falls from the sky. Fire. Darkness. Another great ending. The dinosaurs vanish, leaving space for something new. And in the quiet, after small mammals emerge. They creep, they climb, they spread. Forests change again. Mountains rise, seas retreat, climates shift. Millions of years unfold slow as the turning of pages in a book, until at last, in the most recent fraction of time, our ancestors stand upright, carve tools, light fires, speak words, until at last we arrive. Each hall in this museum of ages is immense. Each could have been a whole eternity in itself, and yet to the earth they are just chapters written, read, turned. Think of it, whole forests rising and falling before humans even existed. Whole oceans filling with life, then emptying again. Entire dynasties of creatures thriving, then disappearing. Compared to that, our cities, our histories, even our longest empires are the briefest of notes. Does that make you feel small, perhaps? But it may also make you feel carried, because in each of those eras life found a way to continue. Through fire, through ice, through silence and loss, life endured. And here you are, listening, breathing, alive. Another chapter, another form. Take another breath. Inhale the Cambrian seas. Exhale the Jurassic forests. Feel them as echoes inside you, because in truth, they are. The cells of your body carry memories of those ages written in DNA, inherited from ancestors who survived each turning. You are a library of deep time, a living scroll of Earth's history. So when you look at your hand in the dim light tonight, know that it is ancient, not just because it has lived years, but because it carries billions of years of survival, of adaptation, of becoming. The trilobites are gone, but their endurance still whispers in you. The forests of the Devonian are gone, but their green still breathes in your lungs. The long-necked giants are gone, but their resilience still walks in your bones. This is the lesson of the great eras, that nothing lasts forever, but nothing is wasted. Each age gives way to another. Each extinction opens space for something new. And in that cycle, fleeting though we are, we belong. As you drift deeper into rest, let these halls surround you. The oceanic shimmer of Cambrian seas, the towering ferns of the Devonian, the arid winds of the Permian, the thunder of Jurassic forests, the bloom of Cretaceous flowers, all of it flowing behind you like a dream. The scroll of earth is long, but tonight you have walked a little way upon it. Tomorrow the clock will turn again, and you will still be here carried within it, a small but luminous moment in the song of time. Good night. Time. It is the one thing we cannot touch, yet it touches everything. When you close your eyes, you cannot hold time in your hands, but you can feel it flowing through you, heartbeat by heartbeat, breath by breath. Each inhale is a beginning, each exhale is an ending, and between the two a whole world is lived. The Earth's time is vast. It stretches across billions of years. Our time, by comparison, is brief, measured in decades, sometimes in a century if we are lucky. And so we ask, what does it mean to live inside such a difference of scale? Does the shortness of life make it less meaningful, or does it make it more precious? Philosophers across ages have wrestled with these questions. Some saw time as a river always flowing, impossible to step into twice in the same way. Others saw it as a circle repeating endlessly, each life a season returning again. And still others believed time was an arrow once loosed. It flies forward and never comes back. Pause for a moment. Which of these feels true to you? Do you feel your life as a current pulling you onward, or as cycles, sunrises and sunsets, winters and springs that return again and again in the silence of night? Both can feel true. Time pulls us forward. Children grow faces, age stories unfold, and yet time also circles, morning follows, night blossoms return. Each year the moon waxes and wanes, forward and circular arrow and wheel. But always time reminds us of our finiteness. It reminds us that everything we love and everything we are will pass. That thought can sting. It can bring a heaviness to the heart, yet it also opens a door to tenderness. For what is tenderness if not the awareness that something is fragile, fleeting, and therefore must be cherished? Imagine holding a cup of tea in your hands. The warmth will not last forever, but it is precisely because it will cool that you draw it close, sip slowly, savor it. In the same way, life itself is precious because it will not last. Take a slow breath. Let it in. Let it go. That breath is gone now, never to return, and yet in its passing it gave you life. That is the paradox of time. Each moment is lost, the instant it is lived, and yet each moment is the only place where life truly happens. Philosophy of time asks us to live in that paradox, not to escape it, not to fight it, but to rest within it. To know that even as we are small compared to mountains and stars, our experience is vast within itself. Think of a child's laughter. It lasts seconds, but it can echo in memory for a lifetime. Think of a sunset. The sky glows only for a short while, yet it can fill the heart with awe that lingers forever. Small in duration, infinite in meaning. Perhaps this is what it means to be human, to live in smallness, but to seek infinity in feeling. Consider also how time shapes us inwardly. A tree grows rings in silence each year, leaving its mark. We too grow rings, not on our bark, but in our hearts. The joys, the losses, the quiet days, the turning of seasons, they layer within us, shaping who we are. Every wrinkle on a face is not only age, it is history. Every scar is not only injury, it is story. And then there is memory, our way of stretching time. We carry the past within us. We revisit it in dreams, in whispers, in photographs. Memory lets us step back, if not into the same river, then at least into its echo. And through memory we keep those we love alive, even when they are gone. What about the future? It too is a part of philosophy of time. We live in anticipation, in hope, in fear. Tomorrow does not exist yet, but we already feel it. That is the human gift, to stand not only in the present, but also in imagination, looking back, looking forward, holding more than the moment itself. But philosophy also reminds us that all we truly have is now. This breath, this heartbeat, this listening. Right now you are alive, and that is enough. The past is memory, the future is possibility, but the present is reality. Take another breath. Feel it anchor you, right here, right now. That is the doorway into peace. And yet there is one more question. If the earth will continue for billions of years after us, if mountains will rise and fall without remembering our names, then why does our time matter at all? Perhaps because meaning is not given by eternity. Meaning is given by attention, by presence, by love. The mountain does not need to remember you. The ocean does not need to carry your name. It is enough that you lived, that you loved, that you felt the wonder of being here. That is your eternity, written not in stone but in the quiet of the heart. Close your eyes. Imagine time as a candle. Its flame burns small and steady. Eventually it will go out. But while it burns, it gives warmth, it gives light. Is it less beautiful because it ends? Or is it more beautiful because it is finite? The philosophers whisper, do not fear the end. Let it teach you to cherish the middle. And so tonight, let time cradle you. Let it remind you that you are both small and infinite, that you are fleeting and eternal, that you are, in this moment, a spark of consciousness looking out into billions of years, and that is extraordinary. Good night. Where were you the last time you felt completely still? Maybe it was a rainy afternoon when drops slid down the window and tapped against the glass like soft fingers. Maybe it was late at night when the refrigerator hummed in the kitchen steady and low and you lay in bed, listening to it as if it were a lullaby. Maybe it was under the pale light of the moon shadows stretching across your floor, a quiet glow that asked nothing of you but to notice. These moments are small, they are ordinary, and yet they are the places where time feels different. The world continues outside, cars move, clocks tick, storms gather, but in that stillness you feel a pause in which you can breathe without hurry. Close your eyes now if you haven't already. Picture the most ordinary detail in your room: the curve of a chair, the pattern of fabric on a curtain, the faint reflection of light on a wall. Notice how when you pay attention it becomes more than ordinary. It becomes a reminder that you are here, that you are alive, that even the smallest details belong to you in this moment. Sometimes when we think about the Earth's billions of years, we feel distant from it, too small, too brief. But when you sit with a cup of tea, feeling its warmth seep into your palms, you are touching the same Earth. When you breathe and feel the cool air enter your chest, you are breathing the same atmosphere that once cooled ancient forests, that once touched the wings of dinosaurs, that once drifted across oceans no human ever saw. The grand scale is inside the intimate. The cosmic is hidden inside the ordinary. Think about the sound of rain again. Each drop is fleeting, it falls, it vanishes. But together they shape rivers, carve valleys, feed forests. Your own life is like that. A single moment may feel small, but it adds to something vast. The story of you, the story of those you love, the story of humanity itself. Perhaps you remember a night when you walked outside and the air smelled of earth after rain. That smell, the damp soil, the green leaves, comes from molecules released by living things, by microbes and roots. It is ancient chemistry happening again and again, reminding you that life has always been here, repeating itself in cycles of renewal. In noticing it, you become part of that rhythm. Take a slow breath. Inhale, exhale. Let yourself remember a time when you laughed so hard your stomach ached, or a time when you cried quietly in the dark, or a time when you simply lay still listening. All of these are layers within you. They are your own geology, your personal strata of memory. And when you think of them, does it not feel as though your life is both fleeting and infinite? Fleeting because each moment is gone once lived. Infinite because you carry it within you, and it shapes the person you are. The refrigerator hums, the rain falls, the moon glows. These are not dramatic events, yet they stay. Why? Because they are invitations. Invitations to slow down, to realize that significance does not always come from grand gestures. Sometimes it comes from silence. Imagine now that you are standing in your own kitchen at night. The light above the stove is dim golden. Outside the world is dark. You hear the steady tick of a clock. You pour a glass of water and for a moment you pause. The glass feels cool in your hand. The water reflects the small circle of light above you. In that pause, the whole universe exists. Time is vast, yes, but so is this moment. Perhaps you can recall sitting beside someone you love, saying nothing at all, only sharing space. No words were needed. The connection was enough. In such moments, the billions of years of Earth seem to fold inward to become a single breath, a single heartbeat. Personal reflection is not separate from cosmic reflection. They are mirrors of each other. The vastness of time teaches us humility. The smallness of our moments teaches us tenderness. Together they form a balance, awe on one side, intimacy on the other. So I invite you now to remember your own quiet detail. It could be the sound of your pet breathing softly nearby. It could be the way a candle flickers on your desk. It could be the coolness of sheets against your skin. Let that detail become your anchor tonight. A reminder that the cosmos is not only out there, but right here in the gentle ordinary of your life. Take another breath. Let your shoulders sink deeper. Let your jaw soften. If tears come, let them come. If a smile comes, let it rise. Both belong. Both are part of your human story. When philosophers ask, what does it mean to be brief compared to the Earth's age? You can answer not with theory but with experience. It means holding a memory of rain. It means laughing with a friend. It means resting under the glow of a moon that has watched countless generations. It means being here now noticing, and in noticing you honor time itself. So as you drift further into stillness, let your mind settle on one personal memory that feels both small and infinite. Maybe it's a summer afternoon from childhood. Maybe it's the voice of someone who once sang you to sleep. Maybe it's tonight, this very moment, listening to these words. Hold it gently like a pebble in your hand. Feel its weight. Feel its smoothness. Then let it go. Let it fall into the river of time, knowing it will remain with you, even as it drifts away. Good night. Not everyone is comforted by the thought of deep time. Not everyone feels peace when told that humans are but a flicker in the Earth's long story. Some hear these words and feel unease. Some hear them and feel small in a way that is not gentle but lonely. Perhaps you have felt that too. Perhaps when you hear that the Earth will outlast us by billions of years, your chest tightens. Perhaps when you think of stars burning long before and long after your life, you wonder, what is the point of my days, my struggles, my hopes if they vanish so quickly? It is an honest question. And tonight we must let that voice speak. There is a voice that says, humans are the center. It whispers that without us the world would be meaningless. That it is our eyes that give the sky its beauty, our minds that give the stars their story, our words that give the earth its memory. Without us, who would notice the blossom, the rainbow, the sunset? Without us, would it matter at all? There is another voice that says, if nothing lasts, then nothing matters. Why love, if love will fade? Why build, if buildings will crumble? Why dream, if the dream will dissolve in the silence of centuries? This voice does not speak in anger. It speaks in sorrow, in longing for permanence. And then there is the skeptical voice. Are we not deceiving ourselves? Perhaps we soften the truth with poetry, but the reality is harder. We live, we die, and the earth forgets us. The rocks hold no memory of our laughter, the oceans no record of our tears. To think otherwise may feel like comfort, but not like truth. Let each of these voices be heard. Let them sit beside you in the quiet of night. Imagine them as companions, not enemies. Each voice holds a question you may have asked yourself alone in the dark. Take a breath here. In, out. Let your body soften even as the questions remain. The voice that insists humans are the center may remind you of how natural it is to place yourself at the heart of the story. We see the world through our own eyes, after all. It feels as if the sun rises for us, as if the stars shine for us. That is not arrogance. It is intimacy. It is the closeness of being alive. The voice that wonders whether fleetingness makes life meaningless is also understandable. Permanence is something we crave. We want our love to last forever, our names to echo, our works to remain. To know that they may not can hurt, and it is all right to feel that hurt. And the skeptical voice, the one that questions whether we dress up emptiness with metaphor, that voice too deserves its place. For doubt is part of wisdom. Doubt keeps us honest, keeps us searching. Without it, wonder would drift too easily into illusion. So tonight we do not silence these voices. We do not argue them into quiet. Instead, we hold them gently like stones in the palm. Heavy, yes. Rough, perhaps, but real. What if meaning does not need to be permanent? What if meaning is like music, beautiful precisely because it lasts only as long as it is played? A song fades, but while it is heard, it moves us. No one says the song is meaningless because it ends. Could it be the same with our lives? What if the earth does not need to remember us because we are the ones who remember? The rocks may not hold our laughter, but we do. The oceans may not keep our tears, but those who love us do. Meaning, then, is not written in stone. It is written in hearts. And what if being the center is not necessary? The blossom does not need us to bloom. The rainbow does not need us to shine. Yet when we see them, we join their beauty. We are participants, not owners. Witnesses, not rulers. To witness is also to belong. These are not answers meant to silence the doubts. They are companions for the doubts. For every voice of sorrow, there is a voice of tenderness. For every whisper of insignificance, there is a whisper of wonder. Both can exist together side by side like the inhale and the exhale. Close your eyes now. Picture a long table in a quiet hall. Around it sit these voices: hope, fear, doubt, wonder. Each has a place. Each has a candle before it. The candles flicker their light, mingling in the air. None of them burns alone. Together they create the glow that surrounds you. This is what it means to live with questions, to let them share the same room, to understand that doubt is not the opposite of meaning but part of its making. Take another breath. In, out. Notice how your chest rises and falls. Notice how even now you are alive. That simple fact does not erase the doubts, but it grounds them. You are here, and that is enough. So tonight, as you drift towards sleep, allow the voices of doubt to soften. Not because they are wrong, but because they too are part of the human song. In their questions, they honor the mystery. In their unease, they reveal the depth of our longing. And in their presence, we are reminded to wonder is to live. Good night. Close your eyes now. Imagine yourself standing on a shore of sand, so fine it slips like water through your fingers. But this is no ordinary shore. Each grain beneath your feet is not just a speck of rock, it is a fragment of time. Every grain is an age, an era, a story the earth has lived. And tonight, gently, slowly, you will walk across them. The air around you is still. You hear only the hush of waves, soft and steady, as if the ocean itself is breathing with you. Inhale, exhale. The sound matches your rhythm. Above the sky is twilight not bound to any single moment in history. It glows with a soft, endless light, as if it holds all sunsets and dawns at once. Take a step. The sand shifts under you. The first grains are warm, and suddenly you feel the Cambrian seas rise around your ankles. Look down, and the water is alive. Trilobites, scuttling jelly-like creatures, pulsing forms both alien and strangely familiar. You reach out, and one drifts past your hand like a lantern made of glass. The air smells of salt, sharp and clean. You breathe it in, then let it go. Another step. The sand cools. The air thickens with green. Now you are in the Devonian, the age of fishes. Ferns as tall as houses sway beside you. The trunks are damp with moss. Insects buzz their wings, shimmering like stained glass. A dragonfly as wide as your arm glides past, silent, majestic. You place your hand on a tree, and the bark feels wet alive with growth. Somewhere in the distance, you hear the faint croak of an amphibian taking its first breath of air. Walk on. The light grows dimmer, redder. The land stretches wide and dry, the Permian. You feel the heat of sun-baked stone beneath your feet. The air tastes dusty, metallic. Reptiles move across the sand, their tails dragging, leaving trails that vanish in the wind. But then silence, an eerie stillness, as if life itself has paused. You know this is the edge of extinction, the great dying, when most voices of earth fell quiet. You stop for a moment, bow your head, honor the silence. Then you breathe again and move forward. The ground trembles under your next step. A forest rises around you, the Jurassic. Towering trees reach toward the sky and shadows fall across your shoulders. Suddenly, the air vibrates with sound, the bellow of a dinosaur, deep and thunderous. You look up and a long-necked giant stretches across the canopy leaves, rustling as it eats. Birds wheel above, their cries sharp. The scent of resin drifts from the trees, sticky and sweet. For a moment you are small in a world immense, yet the immensity feels protective, not threatening. Another step. The air grows fragrant. Flowers bloom across a meadow, the Cretaceous. Color spreads everywhere, yellows, purples, reds. Bees hum lazily among the blossoms. The sunlight is softer here, golden. You reach out and a petal brushes your fingertips, delicate as silk. For the first time you taste nectar in the air, sweet and new. But then far away the sky flashes. You know what is coming. A fireball, an ending. You feel the ground shudder. You close your eyes, breathe deeply, and let the meadow fade. When you open them again, the world has changed. The flowers remain, but dinosaurs are gone. Small mammals scurry in the underbrush. The forest feels quieter, gentler. You hear the chirp of birds, the rustle of leaves, the faint trickle of a stream. The air is cooler. The earth is resting, preparing for something new. Step once more, and the world grows familiar. You see grasslands rolling, herds of animals grazing. You see early humans tending fires, shaping tools, painting caves with ochre hands. You hear voices, soft, musical, telling stories to one another. Their language is not yours, but their laughter island. And in that laughter you recognize yourself. Take another breath. The journey has brought you here to the thin sliver of time that is humanity. All those eras beneath your feet, all those grains of sand, billions of years carried you to this moment. You stand now at the edge of midnight, aware of how brief, how luminous your own existence island. But before the journey ends, pause. Feel the sand again under your toes. Each grain is a story. Each grain is a memory. And as you walk, you are not separate from them. You are woven into them. The wind brushes your face. It smells of salt, of moss, of resin, of flowers all at once. Because here in imagination time folds together. Past and present mingle. You are walking not through history, but through memory, through dream, through the earth's own breath. Look up. The sky above is wide, filled with stars. But these stars do not belong to one age. They are all the stars from all the ages shining together. Some long gone, some still burning their light arriving now. A cosmic choir of light. And as you stand beneath them, you realize you are not just walking across time. Time is walking through you. Every cell in your body carries echoes of these eras. The iron in your blood was forged in ancient stars. The water in your veins once flowed in primeval seas. The carbon in your breath once fed forests older than mountains. You are not a visitor to this story. You are part of it. So take one last step slowly. The sand is soft again. The waves return. You are back on the shore where you began. The ocean breathes with you. Inhale, exhale. The journey through ages settles inside you not as knowledge but as calm. You have walked across billions of years, and yet here you are still yourself, still breathing, still alive. Let the image fade now, like the afterglow of a dream. Let the sound of waves soften into silence. Rest in the thought that you belong to every grain of sand, every age, every star. And as you drift towards sleep, know that the earth patient and ancient is walking with you still. Good night. Imagine a stormy night. The sky is black, the air thick with rain, and then suddenly a flash of lightning splits the dark. For a second, the whole world is illuminated. Trees stand sharp against the horizon, every leaf visible, every ripple on water caught in silver light, and then just as quickly the light is gone. Darkness returns. Human existence is that lightning, a brilliant flash in the long storm of Earth's history. Brief, yes, but in that briefness, everything is revealed. Love, sorrow, hope, art, laughter, pain, tenderness. For the span of our flash, the world glows with awareness. Without it, the earth is still beautiful but silent. With it, the earth becomes conscious of itself. Take a breath here. Imagine yourself as that lightning. Brilliant, fleeting, irreplaceable. Does the fact that it ends make it less meaningful, or does it make it precious exactly because it cannot last? Now, let the metaphor shift. Imagine a tapestry stretched wide across the ages, threads woven in endless colors. Some threads are thick, running long like the reign of dinosaurs, lasting hundreds of millions of years. Others are thin, delicate, brief, like the first blossoms of flowers. And then there is the thread of humanity. It does not run long. It is slender, fragile. But when you step back, you see that it gleams bright among the darker hues, weaving connections, bringing contrast, making the whole design shimmer. You are a thread in that tapestry. Your life, your choices, your loves, your memories, they are strands of color that join with others. You do not weave the entire cloth. You could not. But without your thread, the picture would be incomplete. Pause again. Close your eyes. Imagine running your fingers over that tapestry, feeling the ridges, the softness, the strength of the weave. Every life that has ever been lived is there. Every song ever sung. every story ever told, every act of kindness, every tear shed. A cloth woven not only of survival but of meaning. So we have two images, the lightning and the tapestry. One shows our brilliance in brevity. The other shows our belonging in continuity. At first they may seem opposite, but together they form a truth. The lightning reminds us life is fleeting, so cherish it. The tapestry reminds us life is connected, so trust it. Think back to the flash of lightning. It vanishes quickly, but in that instant you see clearly. Perhaps this is what it means to live, not to last forever, but to see, to notice, to hold beauty in awareness. When you watch a sunset, when you hold a loved one's hand, when you breathe slowly in the dark, you are lightning revealing the world, if only for a second. And think back to the tapestry. It reminds you that you are not alone. Your story is stitched beside others, crossing and overlapping. Even when you feel isolated, your thread is woven in. Even when you are gone, the cloth remains stronger because of your presence. Take another breath. Inhale the lightning bright, fleeting alive. Exhale the tapestry, steady, woven, eternal. Inhale brilliance. Exhale belonging. Perhaps you have feared that your life is too small, too brief to matter. But does anyone say a lightning flash does not matter because it lasts only a second? Does anyone dismiss a single thread in a carpet because it is thin? Both are part of something larger. Both give meaning to the whole. Look at your hand for a moment. The skin, the lines, the warmth. Think of it as lightning, the brief spark of your existence, the singular glow of your awareness. And then think of it as thread woven from ancestors, from families, from communities connected across centuries. In your hand, both metaphors live at once. This is the beauty of metaphor. It allows us to hold contradictions without breaking. You are fleeting, and you are enduring. You are alone, and you are connected. You are small, and you are vast. Take comfort in this. Let the images settle into you like soft blankets. Let the flash of lightning remind you of the urgency to notice beauty. Let the tapestry remind you that even if you fail, even if you stumble, the cloth holds you. The pattern continues. And tonight, as you rest, let yourself drift between them. One moment, feel the brilliance of lightning across your chest, the thrill of being alive now, here in this instant. The next, feel the steadiness of the tapestry, the long weave of humanity and earth that carries you gently forward. You do not have to choose between them. You can be both. So close your eyes. Imagine the sky. A storm gathers dark and vast. Suddenly light splits it, dazzling, breathtaking. That is you. And when it fades, you step back and see the tapestry stretching across the ages, your thread glimmering among many. That is you too. Brief, belonging, lightning, and thread. Good night. Close your eyes. Imagine just for a moment that humans are gone. Not with fear, not with catastrophe, but with quietness, as if we had stepped softly out of the room, leaving the earth to itself. At first, the cities stand as they are. Streets, empty windows reflecting the morning Sunday. The hum of traffic has stopped. The voices of crowds have faded, but the wind still moves between buildings, whispering through open doors. A day passes, a week, a month. Grass begins to grow in the cracks of sidewalks. Birds roost in the corners of empty train stations. Foxes and deer wander the highways at dawn, pausing to sniff the air, finding no threat. The earth breathes a little deeper. A year passes. Vines climb the sides of glass towers, wrapping them in green. Roots push gently through concrete. Parks spread outward, their boundaries no longer trimmed. Wolves return to valleys. Bears roam along rivers, fishing in waters once fenced by humans. The sky, cleared of smoke, glows a deeper blue. Decades drift by. The roofs of houses sag beneath the weight of rain and snow. Windows shatter, and ivy spills inside. Owls nest in bedrooms. Ferns spread across kitchen floors. In libraries, books crumble into dust pages, curling, ink fading. But the stories, though unread, return quietly to the soil. Take a slow breath. Inhale the scent of rain on stone. Exhale the memory of leaves rustling through open windows. 100 years. Forests grow thick across suburbs. Roots crack through asphalt, lifting it like broken puzzle pieces. Rivers shift their courses, swallowing bridges, carving new channels. Coral reefs flourish without anchors or nets. Whales sing without the thunder of ships to drown them. Night skies blaze with stars sharper and brighter, without artificial light. 1,000 years. Cities are no longer cities. Their skeletons rise like cliffs draped in moss and waterfalls. Skyscrapers crumble into hills of stone. Roads disappear beneath meadows of wildflowers. The desert sands cover what was once steel. Jungles reclaim the equator. Ice breathes again at the poles. Pause here. Let yourself imagine standing in the middle of such a place. The ruins of what was once human-made lie quiet, softened by nature. Around you trees sway, birds call. The air is cool, fragrant with pine or salt or rain. It is not desolation, it is renewal. 10,000 years. The earth has nearly forgotten us. A few carvings remain, perhaps etched into mountains, perhaps deep in caves hidden from wind and rain. But most of what we built has dissolved into soil and sea. The planet has healed its scars. Life continues as it always has, reshaping, rebalancing, creating. And yet our presence was not meaningless. The echoes remain not in stone, but in the DNA of creatures we touched, in the plants we carried across continents, in the seeds of stories that might still drift untold in the whispers of wind. Take another breath. Inhale. Exhale. Let yourself feel the paradox. We are brief, yet we leave traces. We vanish, yet the earth remembers in subtle ways. Now tilt the vision slightly. What if instead of sorrow, there is a kind of peace in this, imagining the earth is not vengeful. The earth is patient. It grows, it heals, it begins again. If humans vanish, the rivers still flow, the forests still rise, the oceans still sing. The world is not empty, it is full. This imagined scene does not mean that our lives are pointless. On the contrary, it shows us that we are participants, not owners, that the earth will continue with or without us. And knowing that we can choose while we are here, how will we walk upon it? With gentleness, with reverence, with awareness of the brief beauty we are given. Look again at the imagined earth. A fox runs across what was once a marketplace. A tree grows through the center of a cathedral, its branches lifting like stained glass. A river floods a street, filling it with silver fish. The air is filled not with engines, but with bird song. Perhaps this vision feels strange. Perhaps it even feels comforting. To know that we are not the planet's only chance at life. To know that Earth holds resilience deep in its bones. To know that even if we are gone, the story continues. Close your eyes tighter now. Hear the wind moving through empty towers. Hear the ocean against piers that no longer stand. Hear the call of an eagle circling above what was once a city. These sounds are not mourning, they are the earth's natural song, always playing, waiting to be heard. And then open your heart to this thought, because the earth will continue. Our fleeting time matters more, not less. Like a guest at a great banquet, we are here for only a short while. But while we are here, we can taste, we can see, we can love. That is enough. So let the imagined scene fade now. Let the green of forests dissolve into darkness. Let the sound of waves soften into silence. Let the vision rest, like a dream, gently closing. And as you return to your own room, your own bed, your own breath, carry this with you. You are here now. The earth is alive with you, not without you. And while you are here, you are part of its beauty. Good night. The earth is 4.5 billion years old. That is a scientific fact written in stone, measured in isotopes traced in the layers of rock beneath our feet. But pause. What does it mean beyond the numbers? It means the earth has known patience on a scale we can hardly imagine. And so the thought arises, if the earth can wait billions of years to form oceans, perhaps we too can learn patience in our brief lives. Take a slow breath. Inhale patience. Exhale restlessness. Life began in the oceans around 3.5 billion years ago, in molecules that learned how to copy themselves. A fact simple and astonishing. But then the thought life is persistence. Even in chaos, even in uncertainty, life finds a way to continue. And so we too are part of that persistence. Each heartbeat, each breath is proof that we belong to the same stubborn stream. Pause again. Notice your breath. Feel its rhythm, its continuity. Plants appeared on land more than 470 million years ago, spreading green across the continents. Fact. But what is the meaning of that green? It is the courage of life to step into the unknown, to risk new ground. Perhaps our own lives ask the same, to leave the safe seas we know, to try new landscapes of experience, even if we tremble as we go. Mountains rise, then fall. The Himalayas, the Andes, the Alps, they were once seabeds. Fact. Yet the thought is this: nothing stays as it island. Even what feels permanent stone mountain earth changes given enough time. If mountains can transform, then so can we. Our grief, our fear, our loneliness, these too are not eternal. Take another breath. Inhale, change. Exhale, release. The Permian extinction erased 90% of life. Fact. But the thought that follows is tender endings, even vast ones, are not the end of the story. Life returned. Forests grew again. Oceans filled once more with creatures. The earth whispers to us that loss is real but renewal is possible. The first flowers bloomed in the Cretaceous. Fact. But flowers are more than biology, they are symbols of fragility, beauty, and impermanence. They remind us that meaning is not always in strength, but in softness. In our own lives, the most delicate moments, an embrace, a smile, a whispered word, are often the ones that last longest in memory. Pause here. Think of a flower you once noticed. Its colour, its scent, how brief it was, how unforgettable. Humans appeared only about 3,000,000 years ago. Fact. But think in the vast scale of Earth that is less than a second before midnight. And yet in that second we have painted caves, built cities, written symphonies, fallen in love, dreamed of the stars. Meaning is not measured in duration but in depth. A second can hold eternity if we live it fully. The atoms in our bodies were forged in stars billions of years ago. Fact. But the thought it carries is profound. We are not separate from the cosmos. The iron in our blood, the calcium in our bones, the oxygen in our lungs, all born in fire, scattered across space, gathered again in us. To live is to carry the universe inside your skin. Take a breath now. Inhale stardust. Exhale wonder. Science tells us the sun will one day expand, and the earth will no longer be habitable. Fact. But thought transforms this into perspective. Our time is finite, and that is what makes it luminous. If the candle burned forever, we might forget its glow. Because it burns only for a while, we cherish its warmth. The moon drifts slowly away from Earth at the pace of fingernails growing. Fact. But the thought is gentle. Even separation happens in slow motion. Change need not be sudden. It can be soft, gradual, almost invisible, like two friends drifting apart over years, like the tide pulling gently from shore. And in that softness there is kindness. Pause again. Feel the space around you. Feel the slowness of change. The human heart beats about 3 billion times in an average life. Fact. But thought reminds us each beat is a gift. Each one a note in the symphony of being. None lasts forever. Yet together, they compose the music of a lifetime. Science gives us the facts. Philosophy gives us the meanings. Together they weave a pattern, patient, persistent, fragile, strong, finite, infinite. As you lie here tonight, listening, breathing, you are part of both. You are the lightning flash of humanity and the thread in the tapestry of Earth. You are fact and thought, science and philosophy woven together. So rest now. Let facts ground you. Let meaning soften you. And let the rhythm of breath remind you that you are both small and vast, fleeting and eternal all at once. Good night. Let us pause. Not to think, not to reason, just to breathe. The journey so far has taken us across billions of years, through fire and ocean, myth and science, extinction and renewal. The mind has travelled far. Now the body asks for rest. So let us slow the pace. Inhale, gently, as if drawing in not only air but quiet. Feel the coolness touch. Your nostrils spread into your lungs. Expand the chest. Hold it for a moment, like holding a small bird in the palm tender, careful, not tight. Then exhale, slowly, softly, like releasing that bird back into the air. Again, inhale, exhale. Nothing else is needed. Notice how the earth supports you. Beneath the floor, beneath the soil, beneath layers of stone, the planet itself holds your weight. You are not falling, not drifting, you are cradled. Gravity is not a chain. Gravity is an embrace. Let that thought settle. The earth is holding you the way a mother holds a child, steady and certain. Now bring your awareness to your toes. Imagine them sinking into warm sand, each grain adjusting to your shape. Your feet are heavy, grounded, safe. The sand is time itself, billions of years beneath you, carrying you with patience. Move upward. Your legs? Let them soften. Imagine them as roots extending quietly into the soil. Each breath feeds them with stillness. Each exhale anchors them deeper. You are not separate from the ground, you are part of it. Your hands. Open the fingers slightly. Imagine them as petals at dusk, closing gently, ready for night. They do not grasp. They do not hold. They simply rest beautiful in their stillness. Your face. Unclench the jaw. Soften the brow. Let the eyelids grow heavy as if dusted with moonlight. Feel the weight of day leaving you like a cloak sliding from your shoulders. Now notice the rhythm inside you. Your heart. It beats steady, patient. In its quiet drum, you can almost hear the echo of the earth's own rhythm. The tides moving, the winds circling, the slow pull of tectonic plates. You are not separate. You are in tune. Take a deeper breath now. Inhale. Feel the chest widen. Exhale. Feel the body sink. Imagine lying by the ocean. Waves arrive. Reach your toes, then retreat. Arrive, retreat. Each inhale is a wave touching you. Each exhale, a wave returning home. Endless, timeless, patient. Inhale, exhale. The ocean of breath. Now imagine lying in a meadow. Grass bends in the breeze. Each inhale is the wind brushing your cheek. Each exhale is the grass sighing back to stillness. The air is fragrant with soil flowers Sunday. You are part of the meadow's breathing, part of its long exhale into evening. Inhale, exhale. The meadow of breath. Imagine standing in a forest. Pines rise above you, silent, tall. Each inhale is the scent of resin and moss. Each exhale is mist, leaving your lips mingling with the forest air. Birds hush for the night. The earth itself is breathing with you. Inhale, exhale. The forest of breath. You see, breathing is not just biology, it is a mirror. Each breath is creation and release, beginning and ending. The earth does it, the stars do it, you do it. Now let us count together. Inhale on 1, exhale on 2, inhale on 3, exhale on 4, continue to 10. If you lose count, begin again gently without judgment. This is not a test, this is a rhythm. Pause, rest in the silence after the 10th breath. Notice the stillness. Notice how time seems slower now, how the room itself feels softer. If thoughts come, let them drift past like clouds in a vast sky. You do not need to chase them. You do not need to hold them. Watch them pass, then return to the rhythm. Your body grows heavier, yet your mind feels lighter. Heavier into the bed, lighter into the sky. Anchored and free both at once. Imagine that every inhale gathers something ancient, the patience of mountains, the glow of stars, the calm of oceans. Imagine that every exhale releases what you no longer need, the rush, the noise, the weight of worry. Inhale mountains, exhale burden. Inhale stars, exhale fear. Inhale oceans, exhale noise. You are exchanging with the world constantly. The oxygen in your lungs comes from trees. The carbon you release feeds the roots. Breath is relationship. Breath is belonging. And notice this. The breath you take tonight may one day move through forests, through rivers, through the lungs of another being. You are part of a cycle that has no end. So when you breathe now, you breathe with the whole earth. Inhale, exhale, stay here. Let the rhythm cradle you. Each breath is a lullaby. Each pause between breaths is a doorway into rest. You may feel yourself drifting towards sleep, the words blurring, the images softening. That is all right. You are safe to drift. The earth continues to turn. The stars continue to shine. The air continues to flow. And you continue to breathe. Nothing else is needed. Good night. We have wandered far together, through fire and dust, through oceans and forests, through myths whispered in temples and facts etched in stone. We have listened to the voices of science and the voices of doubt. We have imagined lightning flashes and woven tapestries. We have walked shores made of time itself, and we have rested in silence, listening to the tide of breath. Now, let us gather these threads, not to tie them into a final knot, but to hold them softly in our hands, as if they were strands of silk glowing faintly in moonlight. The first thread, science. It has told us the earth is ancient billions of years. It has shown us the halls of ages, from Cambrian seas to Jurassic forests, from extinctions to blooms of flowers. It has whispered of atoms forged in stars of molecules, learning to dance, of mountains rising and falling like waves. Science has given us the bones of the story, the skeleton of truth, the second thread, myth. It has given us Gaia, Sky Woman, Pangu, Obatala. It has told us that creation is also poetry, that beginnings can be sung, that the ground beneath us is not just soil but story. Myth has reminded us that humans have always needed meaning, always painted symbols onto the dark to make it less empty. The third thread, philosophy. It has asked, if we are brief, what does that mean? It has reminded us that brevity can be beauty, that fragility can be preciousness, that endings can deepen tenderness. It has given us metaphors, lightning tapestry candle, that help us live with the questions, not against them. And then the fourth thread, imagination. We have walked through ages, stood in forests of dinosaurs, sat in empty cities reclaimed by moss. Imagination has let us step outside ourselves to wander through what was, what might be, what may never be, and yet still carries truth. Finally, the fifth thread, breath. Inhale, exhale. The most intimate rhythm linking us to oceans and forests, to stars and tides. Breath has been our reminder that the vastness of time is not only out there, it is also in here, inside the chest, inside the lungs, inside the heartbeat. Pause, picture these 5 threads in your hand. Science, myth, philosophy, imagination, breath. 5 colors, 5 textures. Woven together, they form something soft, something strong. And what does this weaving tell us? That the earth is both ancient and immediate, both impersonal and tender. That we are small compared to its vast story and yet luminous in our briefness. That doubt is not the end of wonder, but part of it. That even if humans vanish, the earth continues, and even if the earth forgets us, we have lived, and that is meaning enough. Take another breath. Inhale. Exhale. Feel the synthesis settle, not as conclusion, but as calm. Think of the lightning flash. Think of the tapestry. Both are true. Think of Gaia and molecules, both true in different tongues. Think of your breath, and the breath of forests, both part of the same rhythm. This is the harmony, science and story, fact and feeling, briefness and eternity. Not one against the other, but side by side, like waves lapping against shore. Perhaps the deepest truth is this: you do not have to choose. You can belong to both. You can live in fact and in poetry. You can honor the billions of years and still cherish the single moment. You can be fleeting and infinite at once. Let that bring you comfort. You are not required to solve the paradox. You are only invited to rest in it. Picture yourself standing at twilight. The horizon glows faintly. In your left hand you hold a stone heavy shaped by time. In your right hand you hold a flower fragile, alive for only a season. Both belong to the earth. Both are real. Both are gifts. So too is your life. Pause again. Listen inward. Your heartbeat. Your breath. These are your threads in the tapestry, your lightning in the storm. And though they will pass, they are not meaningless. They are part of the whole. The soft synthesis of all we have heard is not an answer. It is a melody, low and steady humming in the background of your night. It says, "Live gently, notice beauty, breathe deeply, and know you are part of something vast. Now let the threads fade into darkness. Let them rest. You do not need to hold them tightly. They will remain woven into you. Inhale, exhale, and drift carried by the earth's patience into whatever dream awaits. Good night. We are nearing the end of this long journey. You may feel it in your body, the heaviness in your arms, the soft weight in your eyelids, the way your breath has slowed without effort. You may feel it in your thoughts, less like words, now more like drifting shapes, fragments of images melting into one another. This is the threshold. Not an ending, not a conclusion, but a doorway. And tonight, we are walking toward it together. Think of all the places we have travelled. The fiery birth of Earth, the oceans filling the forests rising, the myths of Gaia and Sky Woman, the halls of dinosaurs, the flowers of the Cretaceous, the voices of doubt and the flashes of lightning, the breath of patience, the tapestry of belonging. We have carried each image like stones in a pocket. Now, at this final stretch, we lay them down one by one. Imagine yourself walking through a quiet corridor. The floor is stone cool beneath your feet. Torches flicker on the walls, their flames small, steady, golden. Each torch is one of the images you have carried. As you pass, you bow your head to each, honoring it, then letting it go. You do not need to keep them anymore. They have served their purpose. They have brought you here. The corridor opens into a vast chamber. At the center is a pool of water, perfectly still. Its surface reflects the ceiling, the torches, the stars faintly glimmering beyond stone. You walk to the edge, kneel, and gaze down. What you see is not your face, not even your body, but time itself rippling softly. Take a slow breath. Inhale, exhale. Each breath makes a ripple in the pool. Each ripple carries the whole journey past and present, myth and fact, wonder and doubt. You realize that you do not need to hold them separately. They flow together, mingling, dissolving into something whole. You lean closer. Touch the water with your fingertips. It is cool, soothing. When you withdraw your hand, a drop lingers on your skin, shining like a star. The pool fades. The corridor fades. But the drop remains carried with you into rest. Pause here. Let the image linger. A single drop of time. A single star of memory. Enough to hold in your palm. Enough to carry across the threshold. Now imagine stepping through an archway at the far end of the chamber. Beyond it, the air is softer, darker. The ground is not stone, but moss-thick and gentle beneath your feet. Ahead, a horizon glows faintly, not quite dawn, not quite dusk, something between. This is the space between waking and dreaming. The space where words loosen, where time bends, where thought becomes feeling. Here you are, lighter. Your body is heavy on the bed, but in this space you drift. You walk without effort. You breathe without needing to notice. Look around. Shapes emerge, mountains, oceans, forests, but they are blurred as if painted with watercolors. They shimmer, dissolve, reform. This is not history, not prediction, but memory dreaming of itself. The earth, in its vast patience, is singing you into rest, and you too are singing those silently. Each breath is a note, each heartbeat, a drum. Together you and the earth form a lullaby, quiet and low, carrying you across the threshold. Take another breath. Inhale, exhale. Feel the doorway widening. Feel the border softening. Perhaps you see a light in the distance, flickering like a lantern in mist. You walk toward it. The lantern is not an answer, not a revelation. It is simply warmth, a place to pause, a promise that rest is near. As you reach it, you notice how calm your body feels. The tension has melted. The thoughts have slowed. Even the questions that seemed so vast now feel gentle, like pebbles smoothed by rivers. They do not press. They do not weigh. They simply exist, and you accept them. This is the final threshold. Not a closing, but a passing. Not an ending, but a beginning of another kind, the beginning of sleep, of dream, of rest. So stand here for a moment. Feel the lantern glow on your face. Feel the moss beneath your feet. Feel the earth turning slowly beneath you, steady, endless, patient. You are safe in its turning. You are carried. Now let yourself step forward. Cross the threshold. Leave behind the corridor, the pool, the torchlight. Enter the softness beyond. And as you do, remember, you are lightning, you are thread, you are breath, you are story, brief and eternal, fragile and strong. You are part of the earth's music, and tonight the earth is singing you to sleep. Good night. We have walked far, and now the path begins to fade. The torchlight grows dim, the corridor has ended, and you stand once more in silence. A silence that is not empty but full of echoes from the journey. Do you remember the first question we asked together? If the earth has lived for billions of years, and if humanity is only a fleeting breath upon its surface, what does that mean? That question remains. It has travelled with us like a companion. We did not try to defeat it. We did not try to trap it in a single answer. Instead, we carried it like a lantern across the dark. Some voices have whispered that it means we are small, that we are only a flicker in a story too vast to notice us, that the mountains and the seas, the stars and the galaxies are indifferent to our days. Other voices have murmured that it means we are precious. That brevity sharpens beauty the way a blossom is adored, because it falls the way a sunset stuns because it fades. That our impermanence is not a curse, but a gift. Both are true, both are possible, both are part of the mystery. So perhaps the answer is not to choose. Perhaps the answer is to live within the question itself, to breathe it in, to let it settle in your chest like a soft weight, not heavy, not light, but steady. Take a slow breath. Inhale, exhale. As you do, imagine the earth turning beneath you, continents drifting, oceans rising and falling, forests spreading and retreating. You are here for this breath in the middle of it all. What if that is enough? What if the meaning of our briefness is not found in permanence, but in presence? Not in how long we last, but in how deeply we notice. Think of the lightning again. Think of the tapestry. Think of the flower, the candle, the wave. Each lasted only a moment. Each remains in memory forever. Your life too is such a moment. A flash, a thread, a petal, a flame, a wave. Close your eyes and let those images drift. Not to hold them tightly, but to let them circle like leaves in the air. They remind you that meaning does not need to be fixed. It can float. It can shift. It can shimmer. Now imagine yourself standing at the edge of a horizon. The sky before you glows, but you do not know if it is dawn or dusk. Perhaps both. The colours are soft violet, rose gold. You cannot tell whether the day is beginning or ending, and maybe it does not matter. Both are beautiful. Both are thresholds. Both are times of wonder. That is what the question is like. Not an answer, but a horizon. Always there. Always glowing. Pause here. Breathe again. Feel your chest rise. Feel it fall. Let the question live in that rhythm. Inhale smallness. Exhale preciousness. Inhale fleeting. Exhale eternal. Back and forth, like the tide. Do not try to capture it. Let it carry you. And as you rest, know this, you are part of the earth's story, but the earth is also part of yours. When you walk under trees, you carry their breath inside your lungs. When you look at stars, you carry their fire in your blood. When you close your eyes, you carry the memory of oceans older than mountains. The story of Earth is not only outside you, it is within you. So, what does it mean that we are here for such a short while? Perhaps it means nothing. Perhaps it means everything. Perhaps the question itself is the answer, and the act of wondering is what makes us human. Let that thought soothe you, not disturb you. You do not need certainty tonight. You need only the comfort of knowing you belong to the mystery. Now let the horizon fade into darkness. Let the sky close. Let the question dim, not as something solved, but as something resting. Take one last breath with me. Inhale. Exhale. The earth turns. The stars shine. Time flows. And you, brief luminous, are part of it. That is enough. Good night. The journey is almost complete. You have walked with me across billions of years through oceans and forests, myths and questions, breath and silence. And now the path grows softer, narrower, fading into rest. Perhaps your body is heavy now. Your eyelids sink. Your breath is slow. Perhaps you are already half dreaming, drifting between here and elsewhere. That is good. That is welcome. The purpose of this story has never been to fill your mind with facts alone, but to cradle you gently, to remind you that even within vastness you are held. Before we part tonight, let me leave you with a whisper of invitation. If these words have brought you calm, you are welcome to return. This is a place where curiosity moves slowly, where science and myth sit together like old friends, where questions are not solved but cherished. If you would like, you can keep this place close, like a favorite corner of your home, like a quiet bench beneath a tree, and if you wish, you may share it. Perhaps there is someone in your life who longs for rest, who struggles to sleep, who feels small against the weight of days. You can offer them this same path, these same whispers, so that they too may drift into peace. But if you do not share, that is fine. Nothing is required. Rest itself is enough. Take a slow breath now. Inhale. Exhale. Notice how, even as the story fades, your body remains steady, carried by rhythm. You are safe. You are here. If you feel like speaking back, though, only if you wish, you might leave a trace of yourself, a comment, a word, a small note in the air. Where are you listening from? What time of night or day is it? What memory rose as you listened? These small offerings become part of the larger tapestry threads woven with countless others. But even if you remain silent, you are not alone. Across oceans, across time zones, others have listened too. Right now, somewhere another person is breathing in rhythm with you, another heart is slowing beside yours. You are part of a quiet community linked not by noise but by stillness. And if tonight you rest, tomorrow will arrive gently. The sun will rise as it has for billions of years. The earth will turn, carrying you with it. Your breath will meet the morning air, and you will walk again through your own hours, brief and luminous. Remember, you do not need to do everything. You do not need to solve the whole story. You need only to notice, to love, to breathe. That is enough. Pause here. Let these words fade. Let them blur into the background, like waves receding from shore. They do not cling, they release. I am grateful you walked this path with me. Grateful that in this vast night your ears, your mind, your heart rested here for a while. That too is meaning. That too is belonging. So here is my gentle farewell. May you sleep peacefully. May your dreams be soft. May your body be restored. And may you remember when you wake that you are part of something vast, something patient, something beautiful. Good night, and thank you for listening. The story is quiet now. You have travelled across deep time, rested in silence, breathed with oceans, walked among myths, listened to questions without answers. The night has grown soft around you, and perhaps you are already half asleep. But before we part, let me leave you with a whisper, a promise, a doorway left slightly open, because every ending is also a beginning. And though tonight we close this chapter, another waits just beyond the horizon. Imagine yourself standing at the edge of a meadow. Behind you is the long path. We have walked the fiery birth of Earth, the halls of ancient ages, the myths of creation, the quiet of breath. Before you, the horizon glows faintly. You cannot see clearly what lies beyond, only shapes, only shadows. But you feel a pull, a curiosity. Perhaps the next journey will take us upward beyond the earth, beyond the clouds, past the thin air, into the silence of space where stars burn and die. Perhaps we will ask, what happens when even stars, those ancient fires, reach their end? Will their deaths be destruction, or will they too be beginnings? Or perhaps the journey will turn inward toward civilizations, toward the rise and fall of empires, the stories of people who dreamed, who built, who loved, who left echoes in stone and song. Perhaps we will ask, what is it that civilizations leave behind, and why do they vanish? Or maybe we will follow water, that ancient traveler, from the first raindrops cooling a molten earth to the rivers carving valleys to the oceans carrying life. Perhaps we will ask, how does water remember? These are whispers of paths we may take, not all at once, not in haste, but slowly, gently, as the earth itself turns, as night returns each evening. Pause here, take a breath, inhale the thought of new horizons. Exhale the comfort of what has already been. I want you to know this is not the end. It is only a resting place. Tonight you sleep. Tomorrow you may wake and carry on with your day. But whenever you return, another story will be waiting quiet and patient, like a lantern glowing in the dark. So, rest now. Let your eyelids sink. Let the images fade. The lightning, the tapestry, the forests, the oceans, all of them dissolve into the quiet of dreams. And in that quiet, remember you are part of the story still unfolding. The earth has more to tell. The stars have more to reveal. And you, with your breath, your heart, your presence, will be here to listen. So let us end with a single image, a horizon at dawn. The sky is pale, the first rays rising. You do not yet know what the day will bring, but you feel its promise. That is where we leave each other tonight, not with answers, but with promise. Good night. Until next time.